Mike Straus join us here on the Fightlete Report podcast, talking shop. We'll be talking today about UFC 259 predictions for the main card, the 3 title fights, including Adesanya taking on Jan Blachowicz for the light heavyweight title. Also, Amanda Nunes returns to the cage, and she will be taking on Megan Anderson. So it should be a lot of fun night fights. And Mike Straus joined us once again here on the Fight Report talking shop. Mike, hope everything is well with you, brother.
Everything is nice to have me back.
Sounds good, man. So let's get a couple things out of the way. First of all, Dana White possibly throwing it out there that they could return with fans.
Yeah, soon.
60 in Texas, and I guess Houston is where they're targeting, since the state reopened this week, completely reopened, and that would be the first official event with fans. And I assumed that it was going to be Las Vegas, but it looks like they're willing to, go to Texas to draw the crowd, to return with fans, to welcome back fans into the arena. And, what do you think about that news? It's very encouraging.
Yeah, that's good, man. He also mentioned that I guess they first went to Dallas and Dallas turned them down, which was kind of surprising to hear that. But He said Houston they're working with Houston, like you said. That's good, man. The sooner the better, right? Hopefully it's UFC. He mentioned that if he can one, he would. The sooner the better, right? I think everybody is pretty much in agreement.
Yeah, for sure. And he said he's not running an arena unless it's a full sellout. He can sell out the whole arena. And so he's going to be allowed to do that, we're assuming. I think there would be some kind of precautions where they can actually shine a laser into your forehead. And if you have a high temperature, you're not getting in.
How shitty would that be, too?
You get your refund, but yeah, I know.
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's one of those things. Maybe they could have a rapid COVID testing center where they could just rapidly get that result, and then boom, before the prelims end, second prelim or first prelim in, you're there. You know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's an option.
Because I know people.
What do you think? You mentioned it a little bit.
I'm sorry.
You mentioned it a little bit. You mentioned earlier, Alistair Overeem and Junior Dos Santos. They were both released by the UFC, right?
Yeah.
It looks like BKFC wants to sign them. Do you think they go that way, or do you think they go Bellator? Do you think they go over to Japan? What do you think?
I think Dos Santos more likely to sign with BKFC because he's a boxer. I think Alistair Overeem more likely to. I think will garner more interest from Bellator than JDS at this point because of his record. Because he won 2. He's 1-2 in his last 3. So it means he won, 2 out of 3 fights. And then he got caught just with that loss. Well, Junior Dos Santos, you never know. They may want to bring him into Bellator. I mean, they brought in Fedor. And what was Fedor really doing before they brought him into Bellator? I mean, I know he had a few losses at that point. But, with Junior Dos Santos, I think for him being a former professional boxer, that would entice him to go to BKFC. But who knows? Neither of them sign with either promotion. They just go off their ways,
That's an option too, yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, I think Overeem is more likely to fight again than Junior. That's my opinion. I may be wrong about that, but I think Overeem is more willing to fight again. We shall see, right?
We shall.
So definitely let's talk about the main event of 259 and Adesanya and Blachowicz. This is going to be one of those crazy fights, super fight. He's going up to light heavyweight to take on Blachowicz. Blachowicz just won the belt. He hasn't defended it yet. He's not taking on a guy who's in his division. So I know some fans had an issue with that. But, UFC's, adamant being on Adesanya hype train, and they're going to move him up there to take on the challenger. It's an intriguing fight. I think it's going to be an exciting fight. Definitely a striking, anticipated striking fight, rather than like being a ground battle. But it could go down that way. How do you feel about the fight?
Man, I was really thinking about this one, how it could play out. I was really putting aside all Izzy's hype and really kind of, really thinking about everything. He's going up in weight. And I'll be honest with you, man, I was going back and forth on this. I really was. One day I was like, I think Izzy. The next day I was like, I think Jan is maybe just going to be too powerful.
Yeah.
And then looking through their records, and this is what swayed me. Just taking a look at some of their records, right? Who they've beat, right? So let's look at Jan Blachowicz, the champion, right? Some of his biggest victories in the UFC have been over guys like Luke Rockhold, Dominic Reyes, Corey Anderson, and Jared Cannonier, and he won a close split decision against Jacare Souza. Solid list of guys, right? Some of the guys are Paulo Costa, Yoel Romero, Robert Whittaker, Kelvin Gastelum, Anderson Silva. I mean, it's just a murderer of, just a list of murderers. Just thinking about that, just the caliber of opponents that they've each been into the ring, to the octagon with. Adesanya is head and shoulders above him, and I think Izzy is going to probably TKO eventually, round 3 maybe. What do you think?
That's what I'm thinking. I picked really 4th count. I think it might go to the 5th round. It might be tied going up to that point, and Adesanya takes over. It might be kind of like the gas. I'm anticipating, like, this is what I'd love to play out. I'd love the fight to be like the Gastelum fight. I'd love to see Israel Adesanya face adversity head on, early on. You know what I mean? And then come back, and then we're tied going into 5th, and just complete domination from Adesanya on route to but he'll finish him this time with a TKO or a knockout. And I think Blachowicz can take the fight to the ground. I'm anticipating what is Adesanya going to do when he's on the ground. Like everybody is. He's like never really been taken down. So that's a high anticipation. I think Gastelum took him down, but he came like right back up from what I remembered when I watched that fight. And so I think that's going to be, one of those fights where, both guys are going to exchange. I think Adesanya has got to be careful in this fight with Blachowicz. He's got to if he's corner gets the cage, he's got to run away. He's got to circle out. Just keep circling out. You know what I mean? I think that works in his favor. I think Blachowicz is I think he's going to look to counter Blachowicz. I think that's what he's going to do. And Blachowicz is not really a guy who's lying his feet, but he's got that plotting, brute style, man. He just keeps moving forward. You know what I mean? And he doesn't give up any space. And so it's just exciting to see how those exchanges are going to look. And I think Adesanya may get clipped, but he's not going to go down. I think when see it. Yeah. And I think Adesanya is going to win this fight, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as it could be, as people think it might be.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. It could be a first round knockout by Adesanya.
Could be. He is good.
And then you think about Jon Jones, and one thing I noted was Jon Jones went 5 rounds with Dominic Reyes, and it was such a close fight, and he barely won it. Jan Blachowicz knocked out Reyes in the 2nd round, and you could arguably say, oh well, Reyes got defeated. His trajectory was going down. No, I don't think so. I think he's that much better. I think Jan Blachowicz might be a better fighter than Jon Jones. I'm saying he has the potential to be. I'm not saying he is at this point, but I think there's a reason why Jon moved up to heavyweight.
I think Dominic Reyes beat Jon Jones on that night.
I did too. But
I mean, I really do. Even though I am a Jon Jones fan, I think that he lost that fight. He lost that fight.
So let's talk about it. Adesanya wins this fight. Does he fight Jon Jones next? When is that going to happen? Just talk about that.
I don't think so, because Jon Jones is heavyweight. He's like 230 pounds right now.
True.
I think he gets the winner of Francis and Stipe, and I think the UFC really wants it to be Francis again.
Yeah, I'm thinking that as well, but we'll see. Anything is a possibility. These two are going to keep talking, and the fans are going to eat it up, thinking they're going to fight. So, that's going to happen for the next couple.
I think they'll fight eventually.
Yeah, they will.
I think they will. I think they will eventually fight. Maybe probably at heavyweight, maybe like a catch, because anything over 206 pounds is heavyweight. So,
That's true.
Maybe like 210, I don't know. They could do like a catch weight. Who knows? I think eventually they will fight though.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I think it's more intriguing if it's at light heavyweight, especially if there's a title on the line and Jon Jones is like, I'm coming back for my belt. And let's say Jon Jones won the heavyweight belt. And then he's like, I'm coming back.
It comes back.
That never happened. That never happens. Usually go up, not go back down after what, for your second belt. But that's always a possibility.
DC is the only one to do that, really, right?
Well, yeah, he went up, but he never went back to light heavyweight. I'm talking about, obviously Cejudo, McGregor, DC, Nunes, they're all dual champions. But I'm saying there's never been someone who went back down to get a second belt.
I thought he went down. TJ was the only one that tried? TJ's
the only one that tried. Yeah, because DC was the light heavyweight champion. He moved up to heavyweight to take on Stipe.
Yeah, no, I know that for some reason I thought he went back down too, though.
Oh, no. Once he stayed up, he stayed up. He wasn't going back down. Now he looks like he could compete at super heavyweight, DC.
What do you think of speaking of double champs? What do you think of Amanda Nunes fighting Megan Anderson?
Yeah, let's talk about that fight. Well, here's what I'll say. Megan Anderson impressed me before she came to UFC, man. She was knocking bitches out, and that's all I gotta say, man. She was vicious. She was thug, gangster, whatever, because she was going in there. Did you see what she did to some of these women? Did you look up?
Yeah, before the UFC.
That's what I'm saying.
She was a killer.
Invicta. Did you see the fight against Peggy Morgan? You see what she did to her?
Yeah.
She made her jaw like boulder size. She looked like she had a small boulder in her jaw.
I thought
she fucked her up.
I'm on tape probably more than once back in the day saying that I think that she's the only real threat at 145 pounds. And but since she's gotten to the UFC, she's kind of just like, you know what I mean? She's had moments, but she's never put anything together,
Right. She hasn't gotten you talking.
But here she is. That division is so weak. Megan Anderson, she's 10-4, and she's getting a UFC title shot. And she hasn't looked great in her last couple of fights. But that division has nobody.
I agree. Most of the women will come into the promotion at 145, but they're promised that they can go back to 135. But they'll take their first fight at 140. And that's what I feel like happens, like with Norma Dumont and some of the other women opponents. Like they came in at 145 as a favor to UFC, and then they dropped down to 135 after they lost. So like they came in just to do the job to Megan or to Felicia.
A lot of people thought Spencer was going to be the one.
Yeah. Spencer has that dynamic. She's got great Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and she's got that dynamic, unorthodox striking.
She got her ass beat, though.
She did. Jermaine Duranami. You look at Jermaine Duranami.
Nunes beat.
She beat her, but look at what the GDR did. She hurt Nunes. There was moments she had Nunes hurt. She didn't have a rock.
She's the first champ.
She just had no takedown defense. And so it was terrible thing. But her Dutch kickboxing posed a threat to Nunes. And Nunes' corner quickly found that out and were calling for her to take that fight to the ground repeatedly. I still think Nunes is the GOAT of women's MMA, and I don't think Megan's going to offer her anything that she hasn't seen before. However, Megan's size, her frame, makes me think she's not going to be easy to finish. And I'm thinking that similar to how Holly Holm beat Megan, and I'm not going to say it's going to be that the whole time. I think they're going to have exchanges, and Megan may even have, flashes of success. But I think Nunes is going to take her down and is going to keep her down. I think that's the weakest part of Megan Anderson's game is her takedown defense and her wrestling. I know she's drilling. I know she's working hard, but I don't see it changing. And I don't want it to be boring. I'm not anticipating it being boring, but I think that majority of where Nunes, wins this fight is going to be the takedowns. I'm hoping it's a first round knockout. I mean, a lot of people are calling for that, but something just tells me Megan's going to be tougher to put away.
I think Nunes finishes it in the first round.
Okay. Knockout?
Yeah. She's that good.
Yeah.
TKO, probably, yeah.
We'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, I know I'm kind of taking that, where I'm giving her respect in a Megan Anderson. It's just I don't think she's ever been finished before as Megan. If she did, it was a long time ago, not in recent history. So I might be playing too into it. But I'm actually giving Nunes a decision on this one.
Wow, is it gonna go 5 rounds?
I just think Megan's tough to put away. I don't see Nunes doing anything but being dominant, but I think Megan's tough to put away. I really do. I think she's very durable. She takes everything unless she gets caught.
She definitely is.
Unless she gets caught in and it's a TKO finish, like where she can't escape. I can see that happening, but standing, I don't know. I don't think Nunes can knock her out. I could be completely wrong about it. It's just one of those fights, We got to see how it plays out. And people might be sleeping on Megan Anderson. You never know. So yeah, I'm just saying that Megan is tough to put away, and we haven't seen her lose by finish till it was Felicia Spencer who gave her a rear naked choke. But my thing is she's never been knocked out in her fight in any of her fights, in any of her losses. She has 3 losses or 4 losses, and she's never been knocked out.
Yeah, she's tough as hell. I just think Nunes is that good.
We'll see, man. What minute you have it?
3.
3rd minute. I can see it happening, man. I mean, she did that to Holly Holm, She finished her off. The way she finished Cyborg, she's a vicious. I was going to say Amanda Nunes recently had a baby, and she's going to bring it with her. She's bringing the baby for fight week. Does that soften her up at all, or is that just make her even more vicious?
It's interesting. I think it'll definitely affect her, but I don't think it'll affect her performance.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to make her even more vicious.
Yeah.
Amanda's just...
She's too good.
Just too damn good. I mean, that's the woman's gold. And I don't know how many more years, because, what can Dana White do to entice her to stay? I mean, if she keeps destroying people.
Don't assign Harrison.
Aren't they training partners?
Are they?
They train in American Top Team. I've seen pictures of them together. That would be real interesting.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely train. They train together for sure. That'd be interesting. They'd probably fight each other for enough money.
Well, what's her name? Kayla's going to be a part of PFL season 3 coming up. So
yeah, we should do a whole nother show on that, because that looks good.
Oh yeah, for sure. Anthony Showtime Pettis, and yeah, I'm actually going to be following this year, because the thing was I was working, so I couldn't follow live, and I tried to follow Contender Series live this year. We did a pretty good job about it, so I'm going to be following PFL since I'm working days. I can, and their shows are on early enough. It's not like they go to 11 o'clock or midnight.
Yeah, they're early.
Yeah.
So we both got Adesanya and we both got Nunes. So we got one and new and one and still. And then what do you think of Petr Yan and Aljamain Sterling?
Well, here is what I think about this fight. I think that Sterling has done so much to get to where he's at. He's really looked good every time we see him fight. In his past couple fights, he was one of those guys, right? He had this big, he had this big chip on his shoulder, big ego. Remember, he said, "Oh, I deserve a new bigger contract and everything." He's kind of humbled a bit since then. Remember, he was kind of talking all big shot stuff. He's had some tough losses. He's gone past them, and I think he looks great. I think on the ground he's very, very dangerous. Petr Yan has to be careful, but I think Aljamain has to be careful. Petr Yan standing, and Petr Yan has got decent wrestling as well. This is one of those fights that I think it's going to go all 5 rounds, and I'm picking another fight that's. I think only out of the 3 fights, I only see one finish.
And it's this one?
No, it was the
it's
Adesanya.
It's Adesanya, okay.
So this is going to go decision for me. It's going to go by unanimous decision. Or it might be a split decision, and I'm giving it to Aljamain. I'm giving it to Aljamain because I look at who he's fought recently. Great fighters. And especially you have Corey Sandhagen, who's probably right there. Like that loss to Aljamain Sterling, he bounced back with the win over Edgar, and I would like to see a rematch between him and Aljamain. Petr Yan is really good. I'm not saying he isn't. He could walk out there. It's just for me, as I'm taking like kind of like a risk pick. You know what I mean? This is my risk pick, and I'm going with Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Petr Yan, he's 5'7". He's got a 67-inch reach. Going to be his 8th UFC fight, right? 50% of his fights end in KO, 50 in decision. Then you have Sterling. He's 5'7", 71-inch reach. This is going to be his 15th UFC fight.
Right.
He's 19-3. All 3 of his losses have come in the UFC to Moraes, Asunciao, and Caraway. Speaking to who he's fought to, like you said.
Right.
I think Aljamain Sterling 4th round.
You think 4th round? What makes you give Aljamain Sterling the edge?
I think he's a better mixed martial artist. I don't know necessarily if he's a better boxer.
Right.
But I do think he's probably. I would give Aljamain the edge on his feet, just because I think he's better with all 4 of his limbs and his elbows and his knees and all of that. Of course, his jiu-jitsu is he's very well versed in Serra Longo, BJJ, so he knows what he's doing, when the fight goes to the mat, and he's a great wrestler too. So I just think he's a better mixed martial artist. I think he's got more experience at a higher level. He's fought better guys, and I'm not discounting Petr Yan. No, I think he's a great champion. I just think I think he's had a really easy road, and I think Aljamain is, like you said. I think you said it. He's had his tribulations, but he's came back, and he took those steps necessary. So I think it's his time, man. I think he gets it done.
Yeah, I think Petr Yan really hasn't faced an unorthodox grappler like Sterling yet. It'll be a test for sure. I think Sterling, staying with Petr wouldn't be wise, but I feel Yan shows enough why he made it to be champion, but not keeping it, not staying the champion. And the 2 out of 5 fights Aljamain has finished, and who he's finished and who he's defeated, I think that speaks volumes. So close one, and I'm giving to Sterling by unanimous decision at the end of it. But I think it's going to be a close one. I'm giving respect to Yan. Yan's not going to be finished, but you said Yan's going to be finished. So how does that finish come?
I think he'll catch him in a triangle, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Yan might be on top, but I think he'll catch him in a triangle.
Both guys have good cardio. I won't say anything about that, but
oh yeah,
I'm going with Sterling too. He's tall too for 135 pounds.
Very tall.
6 foot, right? 6 foot. Yeah. Real tall.
Yeah, he's very tall.
Yeah. So, tall guy for that division, and people have called him like John Jones, mini John Jones, and stuff like that. So, I know. We'll see though. I mean, it's one of those fights, right? He's got all the physical attributes to beat Yan. Just has to put it together. I mean, some guys have all those attributes to win, and they don't put it together, when it comes fight night.
Do you think AEW is doing their pay-per-view on Sunday to not bump heads with the UFC?
I don't know. That I can't say for sure, because they've ran stuff head-to-head with UFC before. Well, UFC fight nights. But yeah, This is a pay-per-view, so they may be trying to do it on Sunday just to test it out. It could be, and it may have nothing to do with it at the same time. It might be better for their scheduling. So, but yeah,
I like it.
Me too.
I like it on Sunday.
I do too, especially for this one. Yeah, let's talk about that though. Let's talk about the big card, and like where you see AEW, Revolution, when we switch gears to pro wrestling. And I know some people only want MMA, don't want to listen to pro wrestling, but this is an unorthodox talking shop. Whenever we have Mike Straus around, so feel free to tune out if pro wrestling isn't your thing. Just have to add a disclaimer. But if you want to hear about both, keep watching. And what I'll say is AEW has gotten better. It's crazy how they have, Impact Wrestling. They've got ties with New Japan now. It's so exciting to be a pro wrestling fan with AEW around.
Oh yeah, for sure. One of my favorite things is unintentional entertainment. Like I think they get a lot of the booking wrong. I don't think they do a lot of things right, but it's entertaining nonetheless. One of my favorite things to do is I listen to Jim Cornette a lot, and I agree with almost everything that man says about the way that AEW is booking the shows, you know. But nonetheless, at the end of the day, I watch it every Wednesday. I'm watching it.
They have a formula for success, man. They're beating NXT. NXT went to Tuesday nights.
That's what I heard, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, whatever they're doing is working. Maybe in the long term, it's not the best, but for right now, it's going pretty well. I think the matches speak for themselves. And when we know there's a pay-per-view coming up, we know we're going to have really long, intense matches like Tokyo Dome, New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom, worthy matches. And I think
what did you think of the Big Show's debut?
That's cool. First of all, he said someone is gonna sign a Hall of Famer, and that's interesting. I thought CM Punk, even though he's not a WWE.
Well, he said a Hall of Fame caliber.
Caliber. Do you think
he said a Hall of Fame caliber? And we know it's going to be a male too, because Tony cut the Unfiltered podcast earlier today, and he confirmed it was a he. So we know that much, but that's all we know.
It's exciting.
Who do you think it's going to be?
It could be CM Punk. It could be John Cena. Could be Cena. Cena's no longer.
Do you think so?
I heard he's not longer contract with WWE.
Dude, that would be huge.
I'm hoping it's not someone like Ryback or, Ryback's not Hall of Fame caliber. I'm trying to rattle my brain. Did you see that post I sent you? Did I say that post where they're like, they went through it, they showed all the major WWE wrestlers? They said Roman Reigns is now All Elite, but he had a different name. The Boulder, it was The Rock, and it said The Boulder is All Elite.
Yeah.
And they changed their names. Did you see that post I sent you? It was like 8 or 9 of them. Matt
They
Gaddy,
do that with all of them.
Man is now Elite.
They do that with all of them too. They always do everybody's All Elite. I don't know, man. I liked his shirt though. I liked his shirt said no more BS.
Yeah. You know what? I think that's huge because everybody remembers Big Show. No one ever won't remember him. I think that guy, they just played him wrong. He should have been as huge, if not bigger than Hulk Hogan during his era. And you would think that going to WWF at the time, Big Show, to me, absolutely. Bigger than Warrior, just as big, if not bigger than Hogan. Maybe I won't play, but look at him. He's 7 foot something. He should have been like the Andre the Giant attraction, and they didn't know what to do with him. They never got him to that point. Maybe I'm overhyping it, but in my opinion, like he should have been way more over. Maybe I'm over exaggerating with the Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, but I don't know.
He had a solid career, but I see your point though. I see what you mean.
Like worldwide, the Big Show, like we should see like the whole Japanese skyline, and he's like this. You know what I mean? He should have been in movies. Big Show. It's just he wasn't epic enough. Like it didn't live up to what he, and maybe it was blame on his end too. But I think he got shafted by WWE.
Well, so correct me if I'm wrong. So there's going to be that new signing. Then there's going to be someone in the TNT Face the Revolution ladder match, right? And then is there going to be a team too, a special team in the tag team?
Let me pull up my notes for that one. I don't believe there's an empty spot for the tag team one. I could be mistaken though.
Because I heard on one of these people was, but I couldn't find it anywhere, so I don't know. But the Casino Tag Team Battle Royal match. Who do you think is going to win that? There's a lot of teams in there.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at the graphic now that I had for that. I don't see any spots open where it's like it's someone that isn't supposed to be there.
Okay.
I am excited as hell that Bear, and I didn't make a post about it yet because I never took a picture of them. That Bear Country is there. Those guys are from the shows I go to. Black Label Pro, GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, and I can't believe I saw them on Dark, but they're going to be part of this.
They're pushing them hard too.
Dude, they're beasts. They're beasts, and I love those fucking masks. Like they deserve to be there. And I'm just like, I'm pissed I didn't get a picture of them before. I met one of them and just talked to them real quick. Like the first time I went to one of these shows, Black Label Pro, and he's like, "Oh, it's my first show too," and it was just kind of like, and now look how big they are.
Yeah, they're pushing them hard.
I don't think they win, but they could. Like, I'm gonna be rooting for them out of all these teams, but then I'm also gonna be rooting for Top Flight. Yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for those two as well, because that'd be crazy. Because I did see those guys, and they did wear masks. I saw them at AEW. I even saw them at Gali Lucha, I believe, Airwolf, and the other guy, I forget his name. I know that they have different names now, but yeah, that would be crazy if they won it as well.
Yeah, they're really pushing Bear Country. There's a lot of good teams. I think Pac and Phoenix win this ultimately.
Yeah, that could happen, man.
Yeah. They're the number 2 ranked team, and did you see what they did on Wednesday? That was the best booking I've seen in a long time. They ran through that team. They look like legit dudes in that, which they should. I think they win or Bear Country. Those are my 2 teams, and because they're pushing the shit out of that Bear Country.
Yeah, I'm going to go with either Top Flight or let's see, or that team, Pac and Ray Phoenix. Probably Pac and Ray Phoenix, because with Pentagon kind of doing his own thing, I think that they would definitely be the winners of that match.
Yeah.
15 teams in the match.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah.
30.
So there might be some surprise ones that haven't been announced yet, Yeah. I would love to see this one team, and I don't know if they'll be able to do it because I don't think they've even been on AEW Dark. There's a tag team called Violence is Forever. Have you heard of these guys?
No.
Look them up. They're man.
Good.
Fuck yeah. They're probably my favorite. That's currently independent. They're both now in Major League Wrestling, and they were at Warrior Wrestling. I mean, it's them and the Sea Stars, and they were supposed to wrestle each other at Black Label Pro, but that got postponed due to COVID. And Sea Stars is 2 female wrestlers. Obviously, they won't.
Yeah, they wrestle on Impact.
Yes. But I mean, one of the tag teams, I try to say, whether it's 2 women, 2 men, or a man and a woman, I put them all into the same category because the Sea Stars wrestle guys.
Yeah.
And the guys wrestle them. So they're considered to be a tag team, and those are 2 of my favorites. I mean, probably my absolute favorites right now that aren't signed anywhere. But I would say look up Violence is Forever, man. Johnny Gargano and they trained Dominic Garacini, I think it is. Dominic Garacini and Kevin Koo. Those guys.
Yeah, MLW.
I would mark out if they showed up for this Battle Royal. I'd be like, holy shit. Like, the song that Korean Zombie comes out to?
Yeah, Cranberries.
Yeah, that's their entrance on the independent scene. So I would love to see
an example of the shitty booking, like there's the next match, I think, the Miro and Kip Sabian, Chuck Taylor and Orange Cassidy. It's like, what are you doing to Miro, dude? Like, that dude, all he's worked with is a bunch of fucking guys, like indie guys, like, dude.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be one of those matches that it's gonna be forgettable. But Miro is awesome, man. Like, and he cracks me up when he was. It was last week's Dynamite where he told Jonathan, "I like you, Jonathan. I like you. Come back to me. Be my butler." It's like, be a man. Stand up for yourself. Like, that had me cracking up. All right, man. He's entertaining. And listen, I think eventually you'll get to where he's supposed to be. This isn't the most exciting angle for him. And I think Kip Sabian's a good performer. He's a good performer, Kip, but on a mic doesn't do it for me. Penelope Ford is obviously the arm candy. Penelope Ford can wrestle, though. Penelope can wrestle. She will probably do something in this match to help. And I think it's Sabian and Kip are going to Kip Sabian and Miro beat Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, thanks to her.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I think they win.
But she can wrestle, though. And I'll tell you, Penelope, what we've seen, it's impressive. I hope she gets away from Kip Sabian. We see her in the women's tournament. I mean, the women's division. But I understand why they.
Yeah, like they could beef it up.
Yeah.
And like the Adam Page and the Matt Hardy match, like the big money match, the first quarter like earnings. Come on,
But they're already spent, aren't they?
what is that?
Exactly. It should
Exactly.
be next quarter earnings. Why would it be next quarter's earnings?
Right.
Last quarter's already
Right.
spent. You already got it. You know what I mean? It would be next quarter's earnings, you know? Duh. Yeah, it's not a match that I'm excited about.
It's silly.
I think Matt Hardy's just having fun. He's having fun. This is the tail end of his career. He's playing out these characters that, you know, that WWE never gave him a chance to play out, you know, where it was the broken Matt Hardy doing it his way, you know, and then, you know, obviously, you know, doing this this new character, the Money Matt Hardy character. I just think he's having fun. I think Adam Page wins this one. I think Matt Hardy puts him over. I don't think it really does a lot for Adam. And he's going to find himself slipping down to the bottom of the card quick if he doesn't get bigger opponents on pay-per-view.
Yeah. If Adam Page doesn't win, I mean, they've been booking this dude. Like, they need to figure something out for him, because he's like, that dude could be the company, you know, in the next few years. Like, there's a handful of guys, I think, but he's one of them. And if, like you said, if they keep booking him into the ground, man, they could ruin that dude forever. So they need to figure it out, because he's got all the tools, you know.
Yeah, and same with Sammy Guevara too, and yeah, I'm not sure where
MJF.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be, you know, like Matt Hardy's not horrible, and like Matt Hardy's still a good wrestler. I think it's still has a potential to be a decent match. It's just the way it's booked, it's not going to be anything more than kind of like a popcorn, you know, kind of like an early pop match. I mean, the only thing that could save it is there's some kind of unexpected run-in. I'm always wondering if Adam Page is going to be offered to join Kenny Omega and the Bullet Club, because he was originally a Bullet Club. I keep waiting for that. It doesn't look like they're going with that direction. So we'll see. I think Adam Page is kind of stuck in limbo till he finds that, you know, that perfect spot, that perfect angle, somebody he can work very well with. Might be somebody that's coming in. Might be the person that's being signed right now. So that's going to be on Sunday. And the Face of the Revolution match. You want to talk about that one next, right?
Yeah, the ladder match.
Yeah, the ladder match. So what you were saying is, who's the mystery opponent going to be, right?
Who do you think?
I'm going with Ethan Page, man. I think Ethan Page signed with AEW.
I was gonna say he did.
I think so. I don't know. Obviously, we wouldn't know, but I'm thinking he might have. It was either that or WWE.
He wasn't in the new WWE class.
No, he wasn't. I think that they didn't want to. If he wasn't in the new class, then I think at this point he held out and they're bringing him in. But I could be wrong, you know, on that one.
No, I think that makes sense, right?
The only one other option I did mention this match. I said it could be Tessa Blanchard. She walks right in.
Could be.
And makes her debut there. It could. In the Face of the Revolution.
It could be. You
never know.
Could be. I would love it. I think the winner of that match is going to be whoever the special entrant is anyway.
Me too.
And I would love it to be Ethan Page.
What do you think of Tessa Blanchard? Like, hold the phone. Tessa Blanchard just made her debut on Revolution. No one saw it coming, and she wins something that a male competitor is supposed to win. Like, that just, and AEW runs with it. They basically pick up where Impact left off with Tessa Blanchard.
I don't know if they would do that though.
I think they would. I think her father's high enough in AEW right now, and I think they could. I'm not saying I'm just saying it's a thought to entertain, you know?
Well, that'd be crazy if it happened.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about who hasn't showed up. It's Ethan Page. Who has Impact released recently, or, you know, who parted ways that isn't going to be doing NXT. And there's very few huge names. There's established names. There's names like that are developmental, like guys from the independent scene, but not any ones that are like, you know, we've seen them. You know what I'm saying? Former champions and stuff like that. Like Brian Cage came in as a former Impact champion, and he was known in Lucha Underground. And I think that
what if it was
as well as Ethan Page.
What if it was Ace Austin?
That would be awesome. I didn't know his contract was up. I heard.
I'm saying because they're working together.
Oh, that's true. That would be cool. And that's what I'm thinking with Impact. That could happen. That'd be crazy.
I love that kid, dude. That kid's good.
I hope it's not Sammy Guevara. Like they just brought Sammy Guevara back in that spot, you know.
That'd be terrible.
It would. Yeah, Ace Austin definitely has.
So we both think the special entrant's going to win, right?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see. I mean, anything can happen, but you've got Pentagon, you've got Cody Rhodes. It was kind of weird that Max Caster was brought in that match, and him and did Anthony Bowen. Did he get injured? Because Anthony Bowen is.
He has to be injured because they would be in the tag team thing. So that I'm thinking he has to be injured.
Yeah, he has to be. Scorpio Sky, Lance Archer. So yeah, we'll see.
The next match is where I'm going to be going after him because I really don't have much interest at all in the AEW Women's Championship match.
Yeah, it's just they did this women's tournament. They made it half the bracket overseas. I don't know if you were following it at all. Were you?
Not really.
Yeah, I just followed the American side of things. Listen, the women in Japan are awesome. So bringing more of them in is I think it helps them more than it hurts them, but it's hard to establish them. Like, look at Rio when she won the belt, like AEW Women's Champion, she can't even speak a lick of English, At least Shida can speak some broken English, but it doesn't, do they get over with the fans that way? No, like Britt Baker, she held that title. Imagine what she could do with it. You know what I mean? But they're great athletes, and I have nothing but the utmost respect to the female wrestlers from Japan. I think Shida wins. She's more established, obviously. Eventually, she's going to drop the belt. We don't know how or who she drops it against, but I don't know much about her opponent, Ryo Mizugaki, I think her name is.
Yeah, that's all I know.
I just saw that she did win the Japanese bracket. Ryo Mizunami. I'm sorry, not Mitsugaki. Mizunami, went through the whole tournament to get her title shot, and it would be, kind of difficult to put the belt on her. And I don't know if, she's the one that they're eyeing to be the champion next. I would think not. And I really thought someone from the American side was going to win this, just to give them the credibility, even with someone that Shida beat, because like they went through the whole tournament. They're now, you know what I mean? They're not going to face off. And I'm surprised. I thought it was going to be maybe a Thunder Rosa. I was in elimination, the final one. I thought it was going to be Nyla Rose. But yeah, we'll see. I think Shida wins though. It seems like, man, how she's so resilient.
Yeah,
how hard she's being down, she just comes right back and connects that finisher, and that's it.
Yeah, I think Shida wins too. And then do you think the Young Bucks, the tag team titles, do you think the Young Bucks will retain their titles? Or do you think MJF and Jericho will be the champions?
That's interesting. That is interesting. I'm wondering if the Good Brothers get involved in that match as well, and it costs the Bucks the titles.
Think so?
But I think MJF.
I hope so.
And Jericho in that case win with and then they start off the whole Good Brothers. Young Bucks. I don't think Young Bucks need the belts right now to make that feud happen. I think I could see them dropping the belts, and MJF and Jericho, who aren't really doing much right now, but they're doing great on the microphone. But in the ring, I think solidifying them as a tag team. I think the circle is broken. It's going to be broken soon. So I think the circle will be broken on Sunday. I don't think there will be an inner circle anymore.
Really?
I don't know. I don't know where they're going with it. So. Because
even if they win the titles?
Well, what if they win the titles and then the tag team battle royal is won by Proud and Powerful by Santana Ortiz? That's definitely, you know what I mean? If they could find a way to break it, they could find a way to bring the circle back together. I mean, they might be like, we're now the tag team champions. Now's the time to rally behind us. We're going to lead you guys back to the promised land, because they went from having the world title to now not really having anything for almost a year. So
I can't stand the Young Bucks. That being said, I thought they were going to retain the belts, but I think after thinking about it for a while, I think you're right. I think that MJF and Jericho will beat them, and because I don't think they need the titles for what necessarily is next for them. But how terrible has this angle been with Papa Buck and their dad? How terrible, that fake blood. How terrible is that fake? And he sprawled out, like purposely sprawled out against the thing sliding. I mean, that was some of the worst shit. Like that. That's cringe.
It's worse. It's just as bad as that.
Worse.
Yeah.
That was bad. Hard to watch. Almost as bad as the Shaq whole Shaq thing. How fake that was.
I know. Yeah. Well, you never know where they're gonna head with this, but I think the Young Bucks they're gonna have the Good Brothers. I think they're gonna take on the Good Brothers for the Impact Tag Team titles at Insurrection. Their next pay-per-view. I think is it Insurrection or
I think they have silly names.
yeah, whatever their next pay-per-view is, the one that's happening in April, I think the Young Bucks will go over to Impact for that show.
That'd be cool.
Because I think because did you see that in that logo, there's a Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega has his logo, the Omega logo, in the pay-per-view.
Really?
It's actually Rebellion. I'm sorry, I had to look it up. Impact Rebellion. And yeah, in that logo, you'll see the logo. It has Kenny Omega's Omega sign in the logo.
Nice.
So I know it's probably gonna be Kenny Omega and Rich Swann for the Impact World title. Can you imagine if Kenny Omega would win that belt and still be the AEW champion? Oh my God!
Might do it.
The major heat.
Do you think the street fight with Sting and Darby Allin and Cage and Starks, is that going to be cinematic?
I think it is. Sting said he was going to do cinematic matches. I mean, he's taking bumps though, leading up to this. We saw powerbomb by Brian Cage, but I think he can't work a full match. We can't expect him to at this age. So I think he just looks better. He'll look so much better in a cinematic match than, if the guy is, mid-match, gasping for life. You know what I mean? Just like Undertaker. Let's be honest. At his age, we can only expect so much. And I just think it looks a lot stronger, doing a cinematic match. I'm not a huge fan of these matches. I thought the Matt Hardy Guevara one was a mess.
Yeah.
Because it seems like they're always going to go back to the Hardy compound, and we're going to see all the different, Hardys, you know what I mean? Everybody, Senor Benjamin, and you know what I mean? You're going to see them pop up. Reby Sky's going to pop up. We saw it in WWE too. It's just like an Impact. It's the same thing rehashed over and over and over. But the fans buy it. They love it. So I don't know how the reception was for the last one. I thought it was a convoluted mess. I thought it was very sloppy. They tried to work a lot of real wrestling spots into it, and they were trying to save it. But to me, you either go to the extreme or you don't go there. You know what I'm saying? Like pick one level. Don't go where Ethan Page went, the Karate Man. But you gotta. You know what I'm saying? It's just. It looked like they were trying to do a lot of wrestling spots towards the end and kind of lost the cinematic feel. That's what I thought it was. I thought it was a mess. It's a very forgettable match. And I think it's a very forgettable feud, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think
overhyped. Who do you think who's going to win this one, do you think?
I am going with probably Sting and Darby.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get the upper hand somehow. I think it's going to be in their favor, whatever environment that they're fighting in. I'm a big Darby Allin fan, man. I'm a big Darby Allin fan. I think he's done such amazing things in his career, short career so far as the TNT champion. And how about you? I know you speak highly of him as well, right?
I think who, Darby?
Yeah.
I'm not a huge Darby fan. I think that Cage and Starks will win the match. I think maybe Team Taz might cheat, or I don't know, but I don't necessarily think that this feud's dead. I think that the heels will prolong it somehow. I don't dislike Darby. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan of his, but I don't dislike him. I just think it's hard for me to buy like little pissy twerp with a skateboard as this badass. Like, it's just hard for me to buy. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not the biggest guy by any means, but I think he's got a lot of heart. I think he's kind of like a Daniel Bryan, man. I really think he's AEW's Daniel Bryan, but with a different edge to him. I think he has the cult-like status where fans are painting their face.
He definitely does.
He almost like a CM Punk. Not there yet, but I'm just saying, could be there one day. And that's kind of
people love him.
People love him, and that's what I get over the sides. I get over his side. sides, when I see that, it helps me buy that this guy is larger than life in the ring. Like, you know what I mean? Maybe not outside when you see him in a parking lot, but in the ring, he's larger than life. And I buy into it. I think I buy into it, and he's a risk taker. Like, there is nothing that he won't do in a match. Almost nothing he won't do.
What do you think of the Exploding Barb-Wire Death Match?
Wow. Well, here we go.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, well, I've seen some of these matches before, and nothing really, and I think I've told you many times, nothing will top being live at one of those death matches. Like, I went to did I show you those pictures? I sent you pictures, right? When I was at a death match.
Probably, I'm sure, yeah.
It was with the Nick Gage Invitational, where they were just fucking each other up with fiberglass rods. Oh,
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it'll turn your stomach, and the shit like flies into you too. And I was like, there's a reason why people wearing masks pre-COVID, man.
It's awesome.
Because there's gas that gets emitted from these things. Although they had to have taken the gas out, leaked the gas out, but maybe they're, So anyway, that shit goes flying into the crowd, and it's just insane. Like, they just fucking each other up with the fiberglass rods, like, and I'm not trying to take away from this match, but it's just like nothing can top being there live in my mind, And in the finale, some guy comes in with like a big ass bundle like this, and just guy takes it over the back. It's just, but this is going to be one of those kind of matches, and it's going to be ugly. I didn't really see anything special about the first match they had. I don't hate these guys, but wasn't it a forgettable match? Like, you could fall asleep during that match, and would you really thought you missed anything in the 30 plus minutes they did? It was like shit you've seen all over and over and over again.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Not too big of a fan of either one of these guys, really.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting that, because the Exploding Barb-Wire Death Match, like, hopefully it's fun and interesting and they do it good. Now that I'm remembering this, I heard that Mick Foley was going to be the person that they debut. That was something that I heard, and I thought, oh, maybe because the Exploding Barb-Wire Death Match, he's been crowned like the championship of that, the champion of that 4 times. So that's something to keep an eye on too. I think they could do it. And it could be interesting and fun. I think Moxley's going to win this. What do you think?
Anything can happen in this match. I'm going with Omega because something tells me Omega keeps the title and then goes to Impact and wins the Impact title, and he will be the ultimate asshole, holding both of those belts. And I just, anything can happen, right? And I think this match is more of Mox's alley than Omega, but Omega is, is a different breed, and I just think that it's going to be, he's going to come out on top. I'm not sure the way it happens, but he has to get that one big win that he didn't have to cheat, right? He has to have that one. It's his first actual title defense, right? Did he defend it on Dynamite?
Yeah.
I don't think he defended it yet, right?
I don't think he has.
If he did, it was against Moxley, but I don't think they had a rematch yet. So I'll give him this one title defense. I think it's going to be a match where he's in a lot of pain and agony, and Moxley is like so close to beating him. Then it'd be like one thing where Moxley knows he has him, but yeah, he just wants to dish out more punishment. He doesn't want to go for the pinfall, and that'll ultimately be his undoing. And I see Moxley being the juggernaut in this match. I see him dealing out the most punishment, but at the end of the day, Kenny, he outdoes himself, and Mega's still a champion.
I hope he does win because I like when they have champions that have some kind of longevity, like what the WWE is, what they've done to Drew McIntyre just makes no sense to me. How he's dropped it twice in the year when he's supposed to be the guy.
Yeah.
I don't, so I hope that he does. I hope he does. I just know that Tony Khan loves Jon Moxley so much, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I think with the Impact deal, something's going to play out where Omega is either he loses the belt Sunday, but he's going after the Impact title, or he keeps the belt Sunday and he says, I'm going to be the champion, the first ever dual champion of Impact and AEW. Like, come on, man. You gotta,
That'd be awesome.
amazing. So just seeing that little logo in the Rebellion pay-per-view makes me think that Omega is gonna walk into Rebellion as the AEW champion, challenging for the Impact Championship.
You know, it'd be cool if the special entrant to the face of the Revolution was Moose.
Yes, that would be cool as well.
And did you catch what the Big Show said? He made a slip when he said, "Tune in this Sunday." He didn't say Revolution. He said Evolution.
Oh.
So a lot of people are thinking that was an intentional slip, and this person's gonna be Batista.
Damn. That'd be crazy.
What do you think?
I never thought that Batista
Right?
full time.
Because that's a Hall of Fame caliber guy.
Yeah, Batista was one of my guys in WWE, man. So that I'd be psyched for that. I would be going. Yeah. Oh man. So that he would be the guy that signed. That's crazy. I mean, there's so many great matches he could have.
Man, it's an exciting weekend.
Yeah, it is, man. And obviously we got UFC, we got AEW, and Mike, I appreciate you, man, being on the show, and of course, plug how we can check you out as well.
You could, if you're in the Chicagoland area and you need any kind of photography or videography, check me out. You can check me out at my website is Chi-Town Hustle with 2 S's, HUSSLE.com. Also, my social media is all just Chi-Town Hustle.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you guys. Check out the Fightlete report, fightlete.com. We got you covered for MMA and pro wrestling. So, check it out. Fightlete.com/wrestling has all of our wrestling articles, interviews, and also updates, updated results in our ticker as well. So, head over there, guys, if you're interested in more pro wrestling, and of course, fightlete.com. Head over there for results for UFC 259 and our MMA articles. Also, we did a betting article with odds for this weekend's fights. I'll be dropping either tonight or tomorrow morning. So make sure to check that out. Appreciate it, guys. Check out fightlete.com.